Welcome everybody here to Western Mass News, your school authority, really your home for the very latest information, not just surrounding the pandemic, but what it means for your kids at home and their education in these tumultuous times. We got a professional standing by for us on the line right now, Dr. Erika Hamilton, a microbiologist from UMass Amherst, and she's going to answer some questions that we have to throw her way. Hey, Dr. Hamilton, hope you're doing well here on this Monday. So the first one I'm going to throw your way has to do with this. COVID numbers in the state, they were on a steady decline for a while, but now they're spiking up again. What's causing this increase? Is it colleges or no?
So there are several things causing it, and one of the things are colleges, but it's not the big story. So there is some more spread due to colleges going back in session. There's more spread due to schools going back in session. But really, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing kind of in all cases goes back to this idea of COVID fatigue. People are just getting frustrated and they're sad at losing their normal activities that they would be doing this time of year. So going on vacation, visiting family, going to a sport event, having a party, going to the Big E, things like that. Schooling for everyone, from whether they're kindergarten to college, is radically different from things, from the way it used to be. And even simple things like dinner and a movie have become really complicated, if not impossible to do. And so people of all ages and all walks of life are getting frustrated in this. And in some cases they say, forget it, I'm giving up, or they just get really frustrated. And so they forget about precautions and they decide I'm going to have the party anyway, or I'm going to go to the event anyway. Unfortunately, this leads to transmission of COVID, and we'll begin to see increases. And hopefully we won't see more of this happening through the holidays, but I'm worried that we will see higher rates due to holiday events.
Yeah, initially we were thinking it would just be a couple weeks of like lockdowns and different measures like that. Now here we are into 7 months into this thing. COVID fatigue, yeah, that's something, no doubt, I think a lot of people are feeling. All right, so the next one for you has to do with the school districts themselves. They've decided on hybrid learning plans, at least for the most part. So prediction time here, so no need to hold you to it, but when do you think maybe schools return to full in-person?
This is going to be tough because one of the things that we have to look at, or that the state is looking at with these schools, is the COVID rates in the town. So again, most schools, most elementary and high schools serve the population who lives in the town or city. And we've all seen that COVID map that shows different cities and towns in either red, yellow, green, depending on their COVID rates. And for towns and cities that have green coloration, that means that they have low COVID numbers and they can at least do hybrid learning. At some point, as long as schools maintain this green color and they can show that they have the good precautions, they may be able to move into all in-person learning. However, if you've watched this map, you'll notice that some places are flip-flopping between red and yellow or red and green pretty easily, like on a week-by-week basis, and this makes it hard to predict whether or not schools can go from remote to hybrid to in-person. So unfortunately, at the moment, it's sort of a waiting game, and we have to wait and see what our COVID numbers are.
Yeah, the virus kind of controls that timeline, as Dr. Fauci has said. And how about this? We're starting to see a rise in COVID cases as it relates to the younger people. And the question here really is what's leading to this? Why are we starting to see it? Is it some of that fatigue again, you think?
So at the start of the pandemic, about 2% of all cases were in children, and now it's closer to 10%. So there's definitely an increase in the number of kids catching this. And even though children are less likely to be hospitalized and less likely to become ill, some do end up in a hospital and some do end up critically ill. So it's not a safe disease for kids to catch. So there's a bunch of things that feed into this. In general, our COVID cases are going up in Massachusetts and across the country, so this is going to lead to more chances for kids to get it. It's also not, schools play into it a little bit, but it's not 100% simply because we know the numbers of COVID transmissions in schools, and it doesn't account for this large increase. And what public health experts are thinking is that this increase is due to events like going to sports games, play dates, sleepovers, and other activities where precautions are not being done. So again, we're going back to this idea of COVID fatigue, or the kids, it doesn't really matter if they catch it. So kids are doing sports events, or they're doing sleepovers, or having play dates, and they're not adhering to recommendations of social distancing, mask wearing, and hand washing, and it's causing a spread of COVID among children.
And complacency right there, the last thing we need in the midst of a pandemic. Dr. Hamilton, appreciate your time here on this holiday of Columbus Day. No doubt appreciate your insight. We're going to have more of that, no doubt, in the coming days. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And everybody at home, keep in mind, we here are your school authority. We'd love to hear from you, answer your questions and concerns. Reach out to us, 413-846-0200. That's the number to call, or you can email schoolauthority@westernmassnews.com. We'll get answers from the doc and other pros for you. All right.